Hey, in this video I want to show you how to make warp zones. So remember, I've got the STE, or the simple test environment. I've got that already set up. This is ready to go. So I'm going to create an empty, and I'm going to reset its position. I'm going to call it warps, and that functions as a folder. Now I'm going to create an empty child, call it warp left, and its position's fine. I'm going to add a box collider there and make it 10. Let's see, where is this thing? Let's go look at the top. Yeah, just as I suspected. So I'm going to put it right on the edge right here. And then I'm going to add a component, a script. Call it warp. Warp. See, I already made a warp script, so call it warp or warp2, it doesn't matter. And now I'm going to click on that script. So in here, there's only a couple things to do. One, public, we're going to set up a point where we're going to warp to an exact transform. So warp 2. Second, on collision, no, on trigger, enter, put void in front, collider, call, then call dot position dot, no, dot transform dot position equals warp 2 position. Okay. Now let's go look at this. So there should be a field for warp 2's transform. So let's go make a new transform, create a child. You can see a transform is just an empty game object. So I've reset its position, warp left spawn point. And I'm going to put that here on the other side. And I'm going to move it up 1, and I'll show you why in a minute. Okay. Now in warp left, I'm going to drag the warp left spawn point to warp left. So put that there. Let's see what happens. I know what's going to happen. This probably won't work. Boing, boing. Hey, it won't go. What's going on? Trigger. It's not a trigger collider yet. Now it is. There it goes, over and over. I'll show you why I made warp left spawn point up 1. Because if you don't, in the slight amount of time gravity has an effect on it, and it can go through the floor. Looks like it's not. That's nice. So it's probably fine. Okay, now let's go one step further. That's how to make a warp. So if that's all you wanted to see, great. But let me show you a trick, because if you want to make one that changes direction, it's one step trickier. Warp left. I'm going to duplicate that and call that warp top. And I'll move it up here. I'll move it over into the middle, and I'll make it, instead of make it 10, 1, 1. Okay. Now, yeah, 0. Now, from some perspective, I don't mind warping to the same spawn point. So let's just see what happens when I do this. But see, the velocity is already headed like forward or north. So it's going to keep going that way. Hands off. And so we need to change the direction of the velocity. So to do that, let's duplicate this warp left spawn point and call it warp top spawn point. With this one, we want to rotate it around so that Z, which is sort of the forward direction, is pointing to my left or to our left that way. Let's see if this does it. No. -90. There we go. Now, it won't work still, but we've got it facing the right direction. It still just comes out of that position and just changes the position and continues with the velocity in the same exact direction. So we need to change the velocity itself. Call.get, it's like attached rigid body. There we go. Dot velocity equals the warp 2 forward. It's that forward direction times the magnitude of the velocity as it was. Call.attached rigid body. There we go. Velocity magnitude. Actually, I never dragged the warp top spawn point over to warp top, so do that. And now I'm pushing forward, and I let go, and it just comes out that way. So that's working. Push forward and let go, and it comes out. It's still got a little bit of forward, like momentum, and but it's not just flying off like that. So there's some tricks. That's several ways to make a warp point. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about saving the ball when it gets too far down past the bottom of the screen, like past down here, and doing something with it then.